Hello, dog lovers. All right, let me just set this up. We're all set. Okay, there's a banner. Okay, that should do it. Welcome to another live show. And today we're doing a different time. So the plan is that we are going to go live every week, but in different time zones. So this week I'm going in the evening, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and next week I'm going to go on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll put all the information in the description after the live show. You can get the information there. Welcome to another live dog training show on Saro Dog Training. Hopefully you're doing well and you can hear me well and you can see me well. Let me just quickly test if everything is going well. You're doing well and you can hear me well and you can see me well. All right, so it looks like we are doing well. Okay, so if you're new here, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. In this channel, we focus on training dogs using a method which is very different and unique than any other dog training method or system that you come across. We use play and praise reward system to train dogs without the use of treats or food. Aversive tools like shock collars, prong collars, choke chain collars, force or domination or being alpha. And we use play and praise. Play and praise are a natural form of motivation for dogs, and they offer a fun and simple method of training dogs, and also it's healthy. It's very healthy because you're not using food or treats or bribe or making the dog to focus on the treats or food. You're helping the dog to focus on you and your energy and your task that you're asking your dog to focus on. So I wanted to start answering your questions, and I have had some questions already in the community tab, which I'm going to bring them up, and we're going to start answering those questions. And we're going to go for an hour today. My plan is to answer your question for an hour, and we'll talk more about dogs and everything in between. Now we have a question from Shiv Kumar Loka. Is asking, I just got a beagle puppy. He's 5 months old now. I would say our training has been going very well thus far, but he eats everything he finds on the floor, street, carpet. How do I change this habit? So you see, when you have a puppy and you bring a puppy in the environment that is new, puppies tend to experience life and experiment life using their mouth. Unlike humans that we use hands to try everything and to feel everything, to understand everything, puppies and dogs, they use their mouth. They practice this from the puppyhood until they are adult. They learn everything, what it is, how it feels like, how it smells like, how it tastes like. Mostly is because also they want to put in their mouth to see if it's edible. Most of the time they eat it, they put it in their mouth before they figure out if it's edible or not. They eat it before they figure it out if it's edible or not. So you have to understand this. They are experimenting the life. They are experiencing life with their mouth. So it's kind of okay for them to have that behavior, but you want to be safe and secure. So therefore, what you want to do is don't put your puppy in the environments that there are dangerous content on the grounds that your puppy can get into. for example, when you're bringing your puppy to your home, you have to puppy proof your home so it's safe and secure for your puppy, so it won't get into things, chew on things, put things in its mouth. So these things, you have to. This is kind of bothering me. Let me see. That's better. Okay. And these things, you have to be aware of it, and don't put your puppy in a situation that makes your puppy to actually get into those stuff. So, for example, don't take it to a busy, fair on on the street, that there's a fair has been going on and full of food and leftovers and garbage and things. So obviously, don't take your puppy in an environment like that and expect your puppy not to put things in its mouth. So that's number one. Number two is, before you put your puppy in a situation like that, in an environment like that, you want to make sure that your puppy has, first of all, has some experience in life. For what I mean by that is, at least if it's 6 months, 8 months and older, before you put it in an environment that there are some distractions. And before that, you want to practice and teach your puppy how to respond to you, how to listen to you, how to be corrected by you, how to be controlled by you. And those things is something that you have to experience and practice and work with your puppy. So I hope that answered that question. Now, there are two more questions that I want to answer, but before that, I want to let you know that starting this week on Sunday, I'm starting a 5-part dog training course for free for dog owners like you. It's a video series that I'm starting to dive into dog training, all the basics, all the basic things that you need to know about dogs and dog training. It's going to be in this 5-part video series, and it's starting this Sunday. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post those videos or if I go live. So in this 5-part video series, we're going to talk about what dog training is, what method of dog training you should use, what tools you should use, how long should you train your dog, why are you training your dog. All of these questions will be answered. So I invite you to definitely join this video series and get the most of it. Next question is from Monica Hernandez. He's saying, she's asking, I have a beagle, and now that he's bigger, not a puppy, he has been barking every time he sees a dog. But before, he was not like that. He was more friendly. So your beagle is not puppy anymore and is now starting to bark at other dogs. The reason this happens, the reason why most dogs all of a sudden start behaving like that, barking or growling at other dogs, or you at humans and things like that, is a sign to you that your dog is kind of stressed or anxious. And that is the first thing that you have to pay attention and notice. Don't focus on the barking. The barking is a signal to you that your dog is telling you that your dog is stressed, and that's a signal that you have to kind of listen first, pay attention first, and then go to the next level. So first thing that I want you to focus on is that your beagle is telling you that it's stressed. Something is stressing your beagle. Now, what are the things that can cause a dog to be stressed? There are many things. One of them is lack of proper socialization. The other thing is, I've always talked about on my channel, is not providing your dog's daily 5 essential needs. If you don't provide these 5 essential needs on daily basis, your dog is going to get stressed. So proper amount of exercise. You have to provide proper amount of exercise. Not too much, not too little. You have to train your dog every day. Every day you gotta get your dog's brain to figure things out, to move. If you don't do anything with that brain, whether it's puppy, whether it's adult, whether it's a senior dog, just like us, we don't live a healthy life. If you don't use your brain, now animals in nature, they are always using their brain. Um, an animal in nature, including your dog, if it was left in the wild, it will use its brain. It will be paying attention to see where the dangers are. It will be paying attention to where the fun places are. It will be paying attention. It will be looking for food. It will be looking for water. It will be looking for um, shelter. It will be looking for safety. It will be looking for survival. The brain is going to be always working. So you have to mimic that mental stimulation somehow, which I suggest to do is with training. You have to provide socialization. Your dog needs to be socialized every day with something. Something new has to come up in your dog's life and has to experience that thing. For example, today my puppy, she realized that boxes can fall. So, right, empty box was standing there, and it fell, and she realized, oh, boxes, they don't just stand still, they fall. It was a slim box that we had on the floor, and it fell, and my puppy, ooh, what the hell was that? So now she's getting used to things like that. So he's experiencing that boxes are safe, but they are there. So socializing with everything, not only just dogs, and not socializing with humans only, socializing with environment. Boxes, vacuum cleaners, all these things. Your dog or puppy has to learn and socialize and practice socialization every day. And then comes care and affection. So there are a few things that uh, can cause a dog to become stressed. So those are the things that, in my opinion, are the reasons that are causing a dog to become stressed, because we're not providing a dog's 5 essential needs. So therefore, we have a dog who's going to be barking at other dogs. So that is the general concept of understanding why your dog beagle is barking. And then you have to just dig in and figure out which one of those is, or which, maybe all of those, you're not providing it properly. Next question is from the Dimitri Dimitrij. I'm just going to go with Dimitrij. Hey, it's me again. I tried your technique and it works, but my 2-year-old female beagle is sometimes afraid of the leash. I don't know why. When I put the leash on, she just lays down. I have a feeling that my beagle is demotivated in some way. Can you help me with that? The live is late for me in my time zone. Should I send you an email? So if just before I answer this question, just to let you know once again that I will be going live every week, but one week, for example, this week, excuse me, we're doing it at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And next week, I'm going to be doing on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I can help all the time zone. So every other week, I'm going to be in a different time zone, hopefully. So this week, I'm in different zone. So I'm helping different dog owners. So anytime that you see that you have a question or you have an issue and you want to reach me out live, you can figure out which time zone I'm going to be on that week. I'm going to put all this information in the description as well. So if your dog is afraid of the leash, that means I was just talking about socialization. So you have to socialize your dog or puppy, in this case with the leash. So your dog is lacking social skills with the leash, and you have to improve that. The way you do that, you use training. Training is, in this case, your friend. Training is what is going to help you to help the dog to be socializing with the leash. The reason I say that is because you have to provide enough exercise for that dog, and then you have to do some training, which are basically formal training, like let's say sit, stay calm, and all that, and then you do socialization. So this is very important for you to understand that you have to provide your dog's daily 5 essential in this order, which is exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. So training comes before socialization. The reason for that is because if you provide proper amount of exercise, your dog's body physically is ready to be receiving training, which is mental stimulation. So first we're focusing on physical stimulation, and then we're starting to focus on provide mental stimulation. And when we do that, we can start providing social stimulation, which is socialization. In this case, we're talking about the leash. So you exercise your beagle, so it's nice and physically stimulated, and then you train your beagle as well, teach it the sit, stay, right? And then when it sits and stays, then you can socialize it with the leash. You can put the leash on your beagle. Therefore, your dog is going to follow through the steps that you're taking. Your beagle is going to say, oh, I had enough exercise and we did some training, so I know I'm supposed to sit and stay, and my owner or my dad or my mom is putting the leash on me and socializing me. Once it does that, then you follow through with care and affection. So that's how this formula works in any situation. And again, don't forget to remember that I'm doing the 5-part mini dog training series on my channel starting this Sunday, and you're going to get through all these information as well in details on this video series. So it's a 5-part video series. Now let's go to live questions that have come. David Kim is asking, I have a question. Sure. Let me just fix this. Okay. I have a question. How do you deal with puppies in the night when they whine or bark without treats? Also, do you use clicker with your play and praise training? With puppies at night, if they're whining or barking without treats, you don't need to use treats just because they're whining and barking. Again, whining and barking of your dog, it's a sign that your puppy is stressed. It doesn't mean that I need treats. It's not whining or barking to be given treats. The reason it's barking or whining is because it's stressed. Now, why is your puppy stressed? I'm guessing because you have your puppy, you didn't exercise or stimulate your puppy enough throughout the day. You didn't provide your puppy's daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. If you provide these 5 essential needs of your puppy in this order, your puppy has no choice but to go to sleep at night. For instance, my own puppy, Annie, I provide these 5 essential needs for her every day. So today, for example, I sent her to doggy daycare. She played with doggies. I did 10 to 15 minutes of training this morning. We did training outdoors. I practiced sit, stay, calm, and leash walking with her for 15 minutes. And then we did some socialization throughout the day. She's been socializing with dogs. She socialized with the bucks today, A box fell, and she learned that, oh, boxes fall, and I socialized with that. They're okay. She socialized with few people outdoors actually. I've been feeding her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is care, and I've shared a lot of affection with her. We just had a mini play session as well, chuck it or fetch game as well, and now she's done. She goes and opens the gate. I mean, the crate, the gate of the crate is open. She just goes in there and she goes, bye bye, I'm done. And she sleeps all night until in the morning, around not later than 9. She wakes me up at 9 a.m. on weekends, but I wake her up in the morning because we come to work. But she sleeps all night. So you have to provide your puppies daily 5 essential needs in order for your puppy, first of all, to be happy and satisfied with its day and its life. So it will go to sleep overnight. Again, when it's barking or whining, it's not asking you to give it treats. It's saying, I'm not mentally or physically stimulated. Now, the other reason could be that your puppy is not sleeping or whining at night is because you have not put your puppy in a crate and you haven't placed the crate by your bed. If you don't do that, your puppy is going to whine and cry all night because it's alone. It needs your energy. It needs your smell. It needs your being there they need to be seeing it, not in a way that we think they can smell you. If they're in a crate and you put it by your bed, they can smell you, they can sense you that you're there. And that provides safety and security to your puppy. And that will let your puppy to sleep all night. So those could be few of the reasons why your big old puppy is whining at night and crying. So address those and you'll see big difference. And your second part question was how do you use clicker with your play and praise training? No, I don't use clickers. I don't have to use clickers. I think clickers are a good tool to use with wild animals like dolphins, maybe. Um, Wild animal by what I mean by that is a wild animal. You don't have any connection. You don't have any uh, um, attachment to a wild animal unless you have one of those cases that you're working with an animal and you have a really deep connection with that animal. Then you don't need to use clicker. But dogs and pets we are so connected to each other that we don't need to use clickers. You have to remember that dogs have been bred and designed by humans for humans. Therefore, we only breed and design and raise dogs and pets that are connected to us, are working for us, are doing well. If they were not good, if we didn't have good connection with our dogs, we wouldn't breed them, right? The reason we breed them is because they are very connected and attached to us as for humans, by humans, and therefore we don't need to use clickers. Clickers are something to use with a wild animal. If you have one of those wild dogs that you have no connection with, you have no attachment to, the dog is just wild, it doesn't feel you are anything but meat, then yes, you have to use clickers. I think in those cases it's a good idea to use clickers. But in general, for pets, I don't use clickers, especially when it comes to play and praise reward system training. Play and praise itself it's a clear communication system to a dog. It tells the dog that if you do this, this is what you get. That's the basic of dog training. Basic psychology of dogs and dog training is that if you do this, you get that reward. If you do this, you get rewarded. So play and praise are rewards. And dogs are naturally players. They like to play, and naturally they love to be praised as well. So hopefully that answered your question. Keep the questions coming. Let's go to the next question. Kinley. I'm just looking at your profile picture is Yahoo State. Hi, so I'm having a little trouble with getting my dog to stop biting when playing. I use a stern voice. I stop playing with him and he just doesn't seem to understand. The reason that doesn't work is because you're still interacting with the puppy. The puppy, the reason is biting you, first of all, is because it needs another playmate to play bite with, if you know what I mean. Puppies have to bite another dog, and that's the way they play. That's the natural form of playing, biting each other. Now you have replaced the dog, so your puppy or your dog is playing with you, so that's naturally is going to do it. Now the reason is biting you is because you're interacting with it, right? So if you want to stop the puppy to stop biting you, you have to replace yourself with either another dog or another puppy or toys that are safe for the puppy to bite on. So those are the three things that you have to invest on. Invest in, puppy daycare, puppy playtime session. Maybe find neighbors or friends who have dogs who are friendly and social and comfortable to play with puppies, and invest in buying chew toys or hard plush, not plush toys. Plush toys are soft, hard toys to let your puppy to bite on those rather than your hands and arms. The other thing is, when you are playing with your puppy, you're asking your puppy to interact with you, and your puppy interacts with you, and then when your puppy bites you, which is natural behavior to bite you, you get pissed because it's interacting with you, and you say no, you use stern voice or something, and you stop playing. He doesn't understand it because he says, oh, the game stopped when I bite, but he comes back and we play again. Right? So they don't understand that concept. So instead, what you want to do is either those three things, provide playmates, puppies playmates, or playtime with your puppy, adult dogs who are good with puppies, or chew toys or toys that are ideal to be used for chewing and biting, or take your puppy for a walk. Replace that activity with something else, walks, or you play with your puppy. Hopefully that helps. Next is Katie E. I have a new 9-week-old beagle. What is the best food to feed him without gaining overweight? In general, the best food to a dog is what's so-called fresh food. What is fresh food? Anything but kibble or dry food. It's fresh. Anything that you can actually you have prepared freshly. Anything that you have prepared freshly. Now there are two types of foods that I do recommend. One is home cook, and the other one is raw diet. Home cooked diet is basically you cook it at home. You know what exactly goes in there: meat, a little bit of vegetables, and egg, and turmeric and ginger, and that's about it. And then raw diet is the same thing, but it's in raw format. Nothing gets cooked. So those are the two diets that I suggest to feed any dog. I mean, any stage of life, uh, any any situation, you just feed that food, because a 9 weeks old dog, it's the same as an adult. Just think of it this way: in nature, let's say a tiger or a lioness, um, doesn't say, "Oh, we're gonna kill that animal today to eat," uh, but we're gonna eat it only because it's not safe for the puppy, right? They feed the puppy the same thing. They don't say, "Oh, it's puppy 9 weeks old." As soon as the puppy is uh, off the milk, mom's milk, they start eating solid food, whatever the parents eat. So you feed your 9 weeks old puppy the same food that an adult will eat. The only difference is that now, there are, if you start getting involved with this diet issue, you can really dive into that environment, that you gonna start measuring everything in percentage and all that, and form that it becomes really complicated. My suggestion is just get started in feeding uh, fresh food, and then start exploring that environment of diet for dogs. One of the best places that you can start exploring this concept of feeding raw diet to a dog, or proper diet to a dog, is a channel called Dog Dad, or Raw Feeding 101. Those are the two places that you can start kind of exploring. But for now, just feed fresh food. Stop feeding kibble or dry food. Don't get me started on why I don't suggest kibble or dry food. That's a different story. Uh, just quickly, I'll tell you that kibble and dry food, they are just the same thing. It's just we call it kibble or dry food, so everybody knows what we're talking about. Uh, it's highly processed. It's not fresh. Fresh food, it's full of toxins and chemicals that will eventually cause a lot of complications in your beagles puppies diet and health. Plus, it's not a natural diet. Basically, kibble and diet are not species appropriate diet. That's all you need to know. Species appropriate diet. A human eats a food that is species appropriate for human. A dog eats species appropriate diet for the dog. Elephant eats species appropriate diet, which is vegetables, green grass, and all that. They eat those trees and things like that. Every creature eats appropriate diet for its type of species that it is. So find out what your dog species is, and feed your dog that appropriate diet, which is fresh food, which is raw diet in general. But if you're kind of iffy about raw diet, you can always cook the meat and start there. Hope that helps. Next question is from Ali Reza Kashef. Hello, Saro. My 4 months old beagle puppy is afraid of other dogs and sometimes pees himself. He also pees in his crate if I leave him alone. So, a 4 months old puppy, a beagle puppy, would be very insecure. So, this is, I'm not saying it's common, but I've seen dogs or puppies who do that. They do pee or relieve themselves out of fear, stress, or anxiety can cause them to do that. And the reason for that is because they're not confident. you know just think of it. I think of it myself. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I wasn't confident. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Everything was complicated. Everything was confusing. So I didn't find it uh, fun. So it was stressful, right? But when I got older and I started realizing, I went to school. I went to hang out with friends, and I started doing things. I started gaining confidence. So that's what is lacking in your beagle puppy, is lacking training. So what I want you to do in general is focus on providing your 4 months old puppy. Again, this is the formula that you'll hear me over and over and over again. Providing a dog's 5 essential needs. Your puppy needs to have these 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. And what happens with most dog owners and most puppies, especially puppies, people tend to focus on affection and care. And when that happens, people ignore exercise, training, and socialization, right? Just because your puppy is 4 months old, it doesn't mean doesn't need it, you don't need to focus on exercise, training, socialization. Yes, care and affection is there too, but most dog owners, including you, Alireza, I think you're just focused on care and affection. You see this cute puppy, 4 months old big old puppy, and your heart melts, and you become, defenseless, and you just don't do anything other than sharing affection with your puppy. And when you do that, you are causing your dog to lack even more confidence. Lack of confidence goes down even when you have no, naturally a beagle or a puppy who's lacking confidence, and then when you share a lot or too much of a care and affection with that beagle, the confidence level goes even lower. In your heart, in your mind, in your soul, you're doing favor to your puppy, but actually you're doing the opposite. You're digging a hole, a deeper hole to your dog's, beagle's confidence level. So don't focus on why is it, don't focus on the peeing. Peeing is a signal that your beagle is lacking confidence. And why is it lacking confidence? Because you're not providing your puppies daily 5 essential needs. So focus on providing exercise, training, socialization, and then care, and then affection. Affection is the last thing that your puppy needs. So if you focus on affection, your dog, your beagle is going to lack, is going to be more and more weaker and anxious and more stressed. But if you do the whole formula every day and in that order, exercise, training, socialization, care, affection, then you're going to see that not only the peeing goes away, your beagle's behavior is going to change as well. It's going to improve. Reza, thank you for the question. Next question is from Srini. Hi, Saro. We live in an apartment and we've been trying to potty train using pee pads and in the balcony, but it's difficult when it rains. How do we deal with this? Welcome to the challenges of owning a puppy and a dog. That's natural. When you have a dog, the weather, it doesn't matter anymore to you. Rain or shine, your puppy or your dog has to go outside of the apartment building. Pee pads are not a tool to use to train a puppy to pee on it every day. It's only for emergency cases. What I mean by emergency, like there's a storm out there that you can't go out there at all. Uh, there's Armageddon. There's no safety out there to go out. Then yes, you can use pee pads, right? But a normal life for a puppy or a dog is they need to go outside of their living space. If you're living in an apartment, the building is a living space. Naturally, dogs want to go outside of that environment. Dogs in that form, in that case, they are very clean animals. They need to do their business outside of the building, outside of the environment that they are. So you have to put the jacket on if it's raining, and put the leash on, and take the puppy outside. Find an area in outside of your apartment building that is safe and it's ideal, and take your puppy every day there and let it do its business there. Again, pee pads are only for emergency cases, and emergency cases happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year. The rest of the time they are doing their business outside. If you are lucky enough to have a backyard, they can do it in the backyard. My dogs do it in the backyard, but I still take them outside to do their business. All right, Serini, hopefully that helps. Next question is from Buddy. Try grabbing her on him by the back of the jaw. I don't know what that is. I forward more blessing. Stay safe. See you in my home. Thanks. Okay. What is the from Carl? What is the best way to discipline a 10-week-old beagle puppy when they pee numerous times in the house after just coming in from outside? 10 weeks old and is just peeing all over the place. So if that is happening, there are few things are happening. The first thing that pops in my mind is that your dog is on kibble. I'm sure it's on kibble or dry food. Therefore, your beagle is over drinking water. So when they're over drinking water, their bladder is always full, and they have to release this pee all the time. So the only way they can do it is just pee all over the place. I just mentioned that dogs, in that sense, are clean animals. They don't want to pee inside of the house. So now, why is this happening? Is because your puppy, your 10 weeks old puppy, is stressed. The reason they're peeing all over the place, they're giving you a signal. It's giving you a signal that something is causing it to get stressed. Now, what could be that is causing your puppy, a 10-week-old, to get stressed? Maybe too much freedom. Maybe you're giving the whole house to the puppy, which is negative. You shouldn't be giving that much freedom to a puppy. You should confine the puppy in one area, especially a 10-week-old should be confined in one area and live there, and you should be raising that puppy in that area for the next few months. Second, probably you're not feeding the right food, as I mentioned. You're feeding kibble or dry food. Instead, I would suggest you to feed fresh food. Fresh food is anything like meat, a little bit of vegetables, and an egg, turmeric, ginger, and that's about it. That's fresh food. Feed that, and you'll see that over drinking goes away. Therefore, they don't pee as much as they used to. They will still pee because, we all pee, but the peeing will be reduced. The reason your puppy is over drinking and over peeing is because kibble is dry food, and dry food forces the puppies to become dry internally in their organs, in their system, in their mouth, so they feel thirsty all the time, and they have to replace this uh, moisture with water. So they drink water, and they overdrink water, and when they overdrink, they pee. So those could be the problems, and the solutions could be just changing the diet and confining the environment that your puppy is staying. And the reason, again, I think you're taking your puppy outside, but they come back and pee inside too. So there are cases that puppies, they don't feel confident when you take them outside, they don't pee outside, so they hold it and come back and pee inside. And that's, again, we just talked about it, is lack of confidence. If a puppy is lacking confidence to do its business outside, is there's lots of things happening, outside. When you take dogs outside, there are other dogs who have peed in different environment, and your puppy may get overwhelmed with the smell and scent of those puppies. Therefore, it gets overwhelmed and anxious and stressed and holds it. So it comes back home where there is safe and pees inside of the house. Lots of things going on. Dogs are weird in that way. So those are the things. Several things are happening. Hopefully, gave you some ideas, Carl. Let's go to Megan. Megan, how do I get my Chihuahuas more comfortable with toothbrushing and nail clipping? One of the first suggestions that I have, if you have a dog or Chihuahua who's not comfortable being clipped and brushed their teeth, first of all, for clipping, I would always suggest to invest in a professional to do their nail clipping, and let them do that part, maybe forever, but at least for now, until that dog gets comfortable being manhandled and their nails being clipped. And if you see that within a few months or maybe a few years, they are comfortable to be manhandled and the nails being clipped, then they can transfer that information to you, then you can do it. But for now, don't jeopardize or don't um, put you and your dog in a risk that you may be doing something to stress your dog, Chihuahua, to be not comfortable with you, because it's a stressful activity. You're holding your dog to clip, and hey, stop moving, and you don't want to get into that situation, that confrontation, because it affects your relationship, right? So it's better not to go there, and also you may do it the wrong way, and you may hurt your Chihuahua as well. So I don't suggest that. I suggest you to let the professional do it for a while, and pick a professional who's willing to help this dog get over this problem that it has. So eventually can be trusting humans, touching their paws and all that, and then transfer that energy to you. Now, but toothbrushing is something that is very unnatural. No animal brushes their teeth except humans. And that's because we eat everything. We eat junk and we eat everything, and therefore we need to brush teeth. But if you feed your dog species appropriate diet, you don't need to brush their teeth. The food itself is going to deal with that issue. Now, the best toothbrush, a natural toothbrush for your Chihuahua, would be a raw bone. You go get raw bone that is ideal size for your Chihuahua, and let it work on it, 2-3 times a week. That's the best natural toothbrush for dogs. Hope that helps, Megan. Let's go to Antania. How do you know if it's time for your dog to come out of the cage? I'm not clear about the question. Is this like coming out of the cage every day or in general? I need a little bit more clarification on that question, Antonia. Sanjay says, "Hi, sorry. When it comes to exercise, apart from walk and running, what other exercise can be given?" Very good question. Uh, the exercise that usually we talk about, if you have a puppy, it has different amount and levels of exercise. But if you have an adult dog, is it different as well? So exercise should be considered as two parts: mental and physical. So think of it as mental and physical forms of exercise for your dog. And the mental should be 70% and physical should be 30%. Now, most dog owners, what they do is they do 100% physical, or they do 70% physical and 30% mental. You have to do the opposite. You have to focus on providing 70% mental stimulation or exercise and 30% physical stimulation or exercise. Now, exercise when it comes to physical, walking is a good thing. Running is, I don't really recommend running your dog, because what happens when you force a dog to run with you, they're not running on their own. You're forcing them to run. Uh, Maybe they don't get the breaks that they need. But when you allow the dog to walk on its own, what I mean by that is when you let your dog to walk to do whatever it wants, instead of you walk with me and I go wherever I go, you come with me wherever I go mentality, you let the dog do whatever it wants. If you do it that way, a half an hour walk for your dog that was going to be do whatever you want is going to be equal to, let's say, if you take out your dog for half an hour, do whatever you want, half an hour, it's equal to 2 hours of running your dog forcefully. They within that half an hour, they can stimulate themselves physically and mentally. So walk is very healthy and beneficial way of exercising a dog. Playing with other dogs is a good form of exercise. Playing fetch is a good form of exercise. And again, do a lot more mental stimulation. Mental stimulation is a lot of training that includes a lot of play and physical activity into it. So I, for instance, myself, I'm always, whenever I'm playing any physical game with my dogs or my puppy, I always add some training, which is mental stimulation into it, because when I do that, uh, I get a plus or a major what you call advantage in the exercise activity that I'm focused on to give to my dog. If I just give physical activity, she's not going to leave me alone, because she's going to keep asking for more and more, for example. But if I add physical and mental stimulation, she gets tired sooner and faster and better. I get better results when you always add training with the play. And that is the goal of this channel, to teach you how to make your training session becomes more fun and effective with training, with play and praise reward system. Let's go to next question from Antonia. How do I stop my dog from fighting with other dogs? uh, so first of all, I would suggest you not to put your dog in a situation or environment that feels like it needs to go and fight. Um, if it's fighting with other dogs, it's a sign that your dog is um, lacking social skills. What I mean by that is a normal dog is always been bred to be social with any animal, including humans. They're 99.9% of the breeds, and the breeding is being done because we find dogs very social animals. And if a dog wants to fight with another dog, that means they're lacking those social skills. They're lacking those social cues, and also they're stressed. Those dogs are stressing your dog. Therefore, it wants to go and fight with them. So, what you need to do is distress your dog. Make sure that your dog understands that dogs are okay, they're safe, they don't cause any stress. Um, and a dog who wants to fight with another dogs, that's a sign that that dog is disconnected from humans, especially disconnected from you. Is not listening to you, is not getting cues from you, is not feeling you. So therefore, it feels that it needs to go and fight with other dogs because that's the way your dog is solving its problems. The way your dog should be solving its problems is by listening and paying attention to the human, and as always, following, you have to be providing your dog's daily five essential needs. If you don't provide these five essential needs, your dog is going to fight with other dogs. That's because, again, your dog is stressed. One of the things that you have to understand as a dog owner, you have to understand it's not, we were talking about it today actually. Why is it that your dog is not that how do you stop a dog from fighting with other dogs? Is why is it that your dog is fighting with other dogs? And the why is because your dog is stressed. Everything that, all the unwanted behaviors, all the bad behaviors of your dog, it comes down to stress. The main reason that behavior happens, why your dog is peeing in the house, why your dog is chewing your fingers, biting you, all these behaviors comes down to stress. Stress is the reason that it causes you to do these unwanted behaviors. In this case, the fighting. And why is it that dogs are stressed? Is because dog owners, they don't provide their dogs daily five essential needs. Let me give you an honest, clear example. As a dog owner, you have a dog, but you go to work for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Then you come from work after 10 hours and you spend maybe maximum an hour with your dog, petting it, sharing affection with it, feeding it, maybe walking a short walk. And then you have to deal with your family, your own things. You have to eat yourself. You have to take shower. You have to take care of your stuff. And the day is over. And the next day, repeat, right? Most dog owners, that's how it is. And then they only have the weekend, and then the weekend comes. Most dog owners are weekend dog owners. What that means is they only have their dogs on the weekends. The rest of the week, their dog is there, or lives with them, but it doesn't exist. So basically, you're spending maybe 5 to 7 or 10 hours a week with your dog, right? Dogs have been designed and bred to live with humans 24/7. not just 5 hours or 10 hours a week. So if you don't want your dog to fight, if you don't want your dog to misbehave, you have to be there for your dog. I'm not saying 24/7, but you have to be there as much as you can. If you don't have the time to invest in being with your dog, you're going to have a dog who's going to be stressed. And these are the results that you get. You get a dog who's misbehaving and is stressed and is chewing and is peeing in the house because you're not there 24/7. You're not there most of the times. It's like having a kid but not being there for that kid, right? You see movies, you see TV series, parents separate, and who's paying for it? The kids, right? Because kids need parents. Naturally, we are born to take and look up to parents. And if your parents are not there, you start misbehaving, you start smoking, doing drugs, going and stealing things, and nobody's watching you, nobody's taking care of you. Start doing crap things, right? So same thing happens with dogs. If you're not there for your dog, you're going to get bad results. This is a topic that I can talk about it for hours. But if you have a dog who's fighting with other dogs, you have to deal with it. It's called behavioral modification, not not at the moment you're not focused on training, but behavior modification. And if you need help with changing your dog's behavior and modifying, contact me in person, email me, send me an email. We can do virtual training. I can give you a lot of information there. I can work with you one-on-one. I can offer you some of my courses that you can take and learn how to deal with this. But a quick answer is not the solution. Hope that helps. Rahul, my 4-month-old beagle puppy is eating all of the dust and other stuff on the ground. How to stop this? Will this stop over time? Yes, Rahul, I talked about this topic in the beginning of the this live session. Go back to that. One of the questions that I answered had come from the community tab of the channel. I answered that question. Go back and watch that part. But in general, this is something that puppies do naturally, and they will. I wouldn't say they will get over it, but they will learn to deal with it eventually. It's something that they do naturally to experience and experiment life. I'm going to try to answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to stay for a few, maybe 10 for 15 minutes more. DD Gaming, I have a 5-week beagle and he doesn't want to pay attention to me in public, even if I have food. What can I do? So that's the reason why I don't use food to train dogs or work with dogs, because food is not as important as we think it is for dogs. The dog food industry has impacted not only dog owners, it has impacted dog trainers, it has impacted has an impact on dog industry in general, to the point that they have brainwashed everybody that food is the only way that a dog can learn. And they bring studies from Pavlov and this and that and that. They say this is science is proving that food or treats are the most effective and important form of training dogs. But I'm here to tell you that it is not. I have gone through myself, and I have had a bad experience, a negative experience with this. And the reason for that is because I had a beagle, Jonah, who also wasn't food motivated, was not interested in food, and that's how I started this journey in training dogs without the use of treats or food. So I know what you mean, and I understand exactly what you mean. Uh, Food is not important for dogs. So even if you try to feed your dog when your beagle is the stressor, whatever it is, cause when you put a beagle in any environment, that environment is more powerful than the food, whatever it is, right? So the food is something that becomes has less value. So what you want to do is provide something that is more valuable than food. And what is more valuable than food is you. Is you knowing how to connect with your dog. And I just talked about it actually. And I was just saying, you're not investing enough time with your beagle. If you are spending a lot of time with your beagle, probably you're focused a lot more on affection and care, and you're not providing other parts of this formula. So focus on bringing you up in the chain of valuable things for your puppy, so your puppy will pay more attention to you. And that only happens if you start providing your dog's daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. You meant 5 months old. It's still the same. Answer stays the same. Caribou. 5 months old lab puppy, too overwhelmed when greeting people. You have to start training your lab to understand that when we meet people, this is what I'm supposed to do. So replace the unwanted behavior with the wanted behavior. The unwanted behavior is being overwhelmed, jumping on people and all that. Oh, I want to kiss you, I want to lick you and all that, right? Replace that unwanted behavior with wanted behaviors. What are wanted behaviors? Sit, stay. Focus on teaching your lab at least the sit and stay. So when it comes to people, you replace that behavior with the wanted behavior of yours, which is sit and stay. You tell your lab to sit and stay, and then your lab sits and stays, and then that person can greet your lab. And that's how your lab learns. If I sit and stay, I get interaction and attention from humans. But if I don't sit and stay, I don't get attention from humans. And Tanya is saying, I have a German Shepherd, 1 year old, and she is spoiled. How do I get her out of it? Spoiling a dog is not a bad thing. I don't mind spoiling. I do spoil my own dogs, actually. I over spoil them. But I also provide them their 5 daily essential needs. You keep hearing me saying this, right? As long as you provide exercise, proper amount of exercise, proper amount of training, proper amount of socialization, good care, then you can share affection, you can spoil them to death. Spoiling is something that we feel good when we do that. It's a natural human behavior. But as long as we provide what we want to feel good about with what our dogs want to feel good about. So provide we provide whatever we want to spoil our dogs so we can feel good. but we also have to provide our dogs daily five essential needs so they feel good. So when we both feel good, then it's okay to spoil your dog. Make sense? Suman is asking 3 months old beagle puppy and he bites a lot. How to solve it? For biting, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to link a video in the chat area. I'm going to call it Effect Beagle Puppy Biting Solutions. It's in the chat area now. You can go ahead and watch that video to learn how to solve the puppy biting. We have a question from Hitesh. Non-week-old female, beagle female. Is it okay to take my puppy outside after the second vaccination? Yes, definitely. Um, as long as they had their second vaccination, you can take your puppy anywhere, anytime, any place. Um, the only thing is that they don't have the rabies shot. So if your puppy bites you or another human or another dog, that's the danger that you're jeopardizing. But that doesn't mean that it's not safe to take your puppy outside. You should take it. Your puppy is not going to bite anybody. It's not going to bleed or anything. As long as it doesn't bleed, doesn't cause bleeding. That's the only risk that you're taking. If your puppy is a heavy biter and it bites and bleeds people and dogs, then no. Um, yeah. Otherwise, it is safe to take. Caddy is asking, is it safe to feed beagle puppies fruit like apples or watermelon? Also, is chicken or ground beef okay for them to eat? Yes, it is okay to feed fruit to your beagle puppies, but as long as it is 3 hours before the meal or 1 hour after the meal. The reason for that is because if you feed it during the meal or too close to the meal, fruits they digest differently and they digest a little bit slower than the regular food, and they start fermenting, and when they're fermenting, they release gases and molecules and things that it's not safe and healthy, which cause a lot of complications with the food. So therefore that's why we suggest to feed uh, 3 hours before the meal or 1 hour after the meal. Apples, watermelon, any fruit is okay. The only fruits that I don't suggest, I mean, the only part of the fruits that I don't suggest to feed your dog is the seeds of the fruit. There are fruits that have seeds, don't feed the seed part. And it is okay to feed chicken and ground beef as well. Any type of meat, white, red, beef, chicken, pork, whatever, turkey, everything is safe to feed your dog. And don't worry about, this thing that is called food allergy. Dogs are not allergic to foods or meats, any meats, as long as it is raw. If you cook it or if you feed it from the kibble format, then you're helping the dog to develop allergies. But if it's given in a raw format, there's no risk of allergies. So any food, any type of meat is safe for dogs. Chris is asking, how can I stop my 3-month-old puppy Pod stop from biting on wood furniture? Provide other forms of mental and physical stimulation. Puppy, other puppies to play, and I'm gonna share. Um, gonna share a video in the chat area that you can go ahead and watch. How do I stop my dog from chewing things? And I just talked about it a little bit beforehand. So that video link is in chat area. Go ahead and watch that. Um, the reason you're welcome, Alreza. The reason chewing happens is one is because they're stressed, and the reason they're stressed is because they're not physically and mentally stimulated. Okay, Antonia is saying, how will you know if your dog don't need a cage no more? Um, most dogs, once they like and stay in a crate or cage, they like it for life. As soon as they start losing interest in a cage or a crate, that means they are not den dogs. Den dogs usually they love the den, the crate. Once they grow old and grow older, and they move out of the den, then that's the sign that they're done with it. Margaret, that's true. Mental training will use more energy than just play. It just makes them get the zoomies. Mental stimulation along with exercise and play. Good advice. You're welcome. When my dog meets another dog, she lays down in submission. Is this healthy? She was bit by a dog at 9 weeks old, but she seems to be okay. But she does lay down. Is this okay? Um, Good question. In dog word, in dog language, it's it means something else. It means, as you say, submission. Does she need to submit to every dog? Answer is no. So in this case, I think she needs your help. It needs you to help it how to deal with this problem. So I would replace this lying down with sit and stay. So next time you meet any dog, for the next, I would say, 50 dogs that you meet, ask your dog to sit and stay, and then let them greet, do their thing. That way, you're helping your dog to get over that dilemma that has developed in her mind. It could be related to the situation that it was bit by at 9 weeks. So it could be related. It may not be, but in her mind, that's how she's dealing with that situation. In my opinion, don't look back. Don't waste energy and time looking back at why this happened. Think of focus on now and the future. Now we need to help this dog. So now you need to help her. The problem is now she's lying down with every dog, which is not healthy. It's not normal, right? So what we can do now and future is help her to get over that problem, and we'll help with asking the dog to sit and stay instead of lying down. Make sense? Hopefully that helps. Uh, my dog, Swap Neil, is asking, my dog is actually 8 months old, but its height and weight is not according to its age. So what he might be the reason? The reason could be that it's a mixed breed. Whoever gave you or wherever you bought that breed could be that is a mixed breed, and that's why it's not exactly the way you imagine it would be. uh, this is a good question. My wife and I are just about to receive a 3 months old female beagle puppy. Can you describe the routine for her first day in our house? Uh, Not only for first day, for first 3 months, you're going to put your puppy in an environment in confined area that it's kind of, I would say, somewhere that the puppy can see the whole family, but is not in the house, through not walking freely in the house. It's in an environment confined in an expand. You confine it with the expand um, in a corner, let's say, and you place your puppy there. Most of the time, there, you get a crate. You put the crate in there, so puppy goes in crate, sleeps in the crate, comes out, plays in that confined area, and then you take it out for every 2 hours. You take it out for pee or poo breaks. Whether so, the more detailed answer for the first day or first 24 hours or 48 hours is you actually take that puppy out every 2 hours to do its business outside. No pee pads, just take it outside, let it do its business outside. um, Try to start feeding fresh food. I just talked about it. Fresh food instead of kibble or dry food. That will help you to have an easier time to potty train your puppy. What else? Make sure that your puppy is in a crate, and the crate is by your bed when you're going to sleep at night. The other suggestion that I have is um, join my puppy training course, online course now, before you get the puppy and bring the puppy home. So this is the course that I want you to join. If you go to my website, sarodogtraining.com, and then you go to online courses, click on the online courses, Puppy Training 101, all you need to know to raise a puppy. At the moment, you're raising a puppy. You're not puppy training, you're raising a puppy. So, yeah, register to this course. Tons of content, information for you to learn and understand what you need to do, everything. Understanding your puppy, basic needs for puppies, how to communicate to your puppy, diet for puppies, environmental toxins for puppies, common puppy issues, puppy basic obedience training, puppy leash walking, results after 2 months, bonuses, games, and all that. So that would be my best suggestion, actually. Another good question. Can a beagle live off of vegetarian diet? Unfortunately, no. Vegetarian diet is not a species appropriate for dogs. It is kind of okay for humans. It's still debatable. We're not still 100% sure if vegetarian diet is the best diet for humans, but we know for sure it doesn't work for dogs and animals, some animals, for dogs at least. It's not species appropriate for dogs. If you feed only vegetarian diet to a dog, your dog is going to lack a lot of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that it needs to get from the meat, non-vegetarian diet. Unfortunately, no. Okay, Chris Paul, thank you, sir. You're welcome. And the last question for the day is, Kadia, should a 9-week-old puppy sleep in the crate or puppy bed? In a puppy bed, inside of the crate. That's where it should be sleeping. Yeah, that would be my answer. A puppy bed inside of the crate, and the crate by your bed. That would be my suggestion. Margaret is thanking. You are very welcome. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you supporting the channel and for being here. If you enjoyed this show, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video or if I go live. And just before I leave, I want to remind you one more time that next video series that I have in my channel is going to be about the basics of dog training. You don't want to miss this video series. It's going to blow your mind. I'm going to go through all the details that you need to know about starting to train your dog. And you need to know how long it takes to train a dog, why are you training your dog, the tools that you're going to need to train your dog, how to train your dog, what motivates dog, and all that. All those details is going to be coming your way in the next 5 weeks. It's a 5-part mini dog training course and series that I don't want you to miss. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this session, this live session, and you want to get more of this, and you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please share this video. And also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, and support my channel by, using the super chat option, and also going to my website and registering to one of my online courses. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your being and joining the community, and I really love doing this kind of content. And the next live show would be on Friday, August 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, and until next time, have fun with your dog.